Welcome everyone back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing really well. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. First of all, thank you to everyone. We've hit 4K. It means absolutely everything to me. I can't believe that when we started this journey together 2.5 years ago, we'd be at them kind of numbers. So deeply humbled, And it is a total honor to do these videos for you all. If you are wanting to become a member, link is in the description to do that. It really does help the channel out as well. And if you want to subscribe, please do that. And you find yourself coming back, it really does mean absolutely everything to me. And we're here to discuss the 52-point win for the Blue Boy Reserves versus Sydney Reserves at the SCG in the VFL. And it was a good spread for the boys. Quite a few goal kickers on there. In a real tough game for a 52-point win. At times, it felt like they weren't very cohesive, particularly in the first quarter. A lot of players playing different roles in this one in the first half. You could see Carlton were trying something. It felt at times very, very cagey at times for a game that was quite comfortable, where Sydney arguably were probably the better side for patches of the first half. And then eventually Carlton's greater AFL experience showed, and they got the job done. Very similar to the AFL at times. Poor decision-making, loose kicks, the basics definitely not adhered, but eventually they did get on top. And kind of similarly to the AFL side, when they do get on top, that famous Voss quote of nourishment does come to the forefront. You see that once they get up and about, they really do feel it. Ned Carl was sensational in this, even though he's not an AFL listed player. His work rate and endeavour really sets the tone, and there's quite a few there in that VFL side. Ronke, Ramshaw, players like that who really do set the tone for the VFL side, which is great to see. Great to see. So let's get into individual players. That's why you're here. J Sauce, first half, well, majority of the game he played down back, did start to swing a little bit forward towards the end of the game. Very solid outing, I suppose, on the old paper, really, when you look at Jack. The first half was a little bit of a concern to me, though, if I'm really honest. And I've got to judge him here on his own high standards. What I saw with Jack when he was down back is he missed some really easy marks. It did take him a while to get into it. And that might sound harsh. I know people are going to say, oh, Pom, I thought it was sensational. But his ball use was poor, particularly in the first half when the game was definitely there to be won. It wasn't a foregone conclusion. Towards the end of the game, as Carlton got on top and the legs started to go from under Sydney, you definitely saw an improvement. And that is the kind of thing that concerns me. Although the numbers, 21 kicks, 5 handballs, 3 tackles, 10 marks, 1 clearance, 1 behind, 5 inside 55, rebound 50s, people say on paper looks good. I've got to look at it this way. At the moment, Carlton are in a shit heat. They're pushing shit uphill. We need these players to get these numbers when it's not going well, which will bail us out of that. And that was the thing, particularly down back, which is a very similar skill set of running towards the ball as he will do when he plays high half forward for the seniors. There was some real sitters that he missed that put the team under the cosh, particularly uncontested marks. There was about 3 or 4 in the second quarter alone, which really did give them the ethos and some loose kicking. But aside from that, he worked his way into it, which is he's a well-deserved 6 for me. 26 touches has to be there. I enjoyed his attack on the ball with the second half. He definitely got a bit more confidence, and that will hold him in good stead, because that's probably been the issue for me in the seniors, him actually taking them grabs. He has been quite fumbly again in the seniors, where when people talk about the shots at goal, he's had the opportunities to create a shot at goal. He just hasn't taken the mark. So whether he comes in this week, that's a choice for Vossi. I'd personally like to see, if he's going with the back line, see him in the back line again, because that is definitely an issue in the seniors. I think having someone who can take a grab and get the game moving quickly at times. Paddy Dow, feel for this kid. 17 kicks, 19 handballs, 6 tackles, defensive work was very good in a very scrappy game. Has to be said, he was playing against, for want of the better word, real rank amateurs here. Dylan Stevens will go, Jacob Constanti, all babies really in the sense of the AFL world. There wasn't really anyone here with a plethora of AFL experience, but he did what he had to do. 13 clearances, 11 inside 50s, and 8. It's a weird one why he doesn't play seniors. I can see the argument, that although last week he went at 60%, his ball use sometimes is questionable. But then I look at it and think, from the 6 and 6 for a side that is top 5 for getting their hands to the ball, that 6 and 6 rule, it would be brilliant if Motlop and Durden and Owies worked really hard and got ahead of their man as the ball comes inside out of a clearance. It's going to be a disaster if they don't do that, though, because that's his strength. He gets the ball moving. And that's probably his skill set in the VFL, why he looks so good there, because Crocker, Carl, Ronk, they work so hard to get ahead of their man. That basic he's really done, and it really helps him out. But Dow did everything he can, with Hewitt probably missing this week, missing a bit of football. Cripper with a bit of a knock. Shearer, will he get off? You never know with our people. He's got to get it in. But the worst case scenario for Dow is he comes in for a week. He has 18 touches. It changes the dynamic of the midfield, and then we piss him off and we say we've tried him. So for me, if Dow comes in, I need a course of 3 games. I really do. And that'll be entertaining for me. Lochie O'Brien, I gave him a 9. I really liked his width. He was hungry defensively. With Holland's doing his MCL, I believe it is, you'd imagine he's a walk-up start now for him. 22 kicks, 6 handballs, 8 marks. Took his 2 goals, really. His first goal was a delight. I love the fact that he's now starting to blaze away at goal when he runs inside 50, which is something both of our wingers at the moment aren't doing. A real good game from him. Good use as well. Really hit the ball in deep, which was nice to see. None of this pissing about 45 out. Again, opposition was garbage. Let's be honest. Sydney's VFL team ain't crash up, but did what he had to do. He's put himself in the frame. Fair play to him. I mean, he was a staple last year. You'd imagine we were playing pretty good football in that 8 and 2 as well when he was playing a lot of games. So, be entertaining to see what they do with him. Will they go with him? I'd like to see them do it, to be honest, because these last 2 weeks have been pretty good. Lockie Plowman, interesting one, this. He attacked the ball quite hard with his 5 marks. Some loose kicks, though. He wasn't alone in that back line. Very hungry for the ball on the deck, though. It was just a Lockie Plowman game, a 6 out of 10. It's what I'd expect for him. Will he be in the seniors? I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore, but I mean, he's definitely that benchmark player for the VFL where you can get a good read on everyone else around him. Did what he had to do, showed his maturity. Taking the kick-ins, which is a bizarre one because he won't do that AFL. I'd like to see that be given to someone else. Definitely like to see them trial like a Lochie O'Brien taking them kick-ins and really working on that avenue, because I feel that's something that in the seniors count are very one-dimensional with the kick-ins. Caleb Marchbank, I enjoyed his game. Played a bit more game time this time. 9 kicks, 9 handballs. Some nice little things he did with the ball as well. 8 intercepts marks. About 5 of them were intercepts as well. Real strong leap. Really showcased his signs. With the form that McGovern's in at the moment, Marchbank is banging the door down. Whether it's too early, for me, maybe it is too early, but there has to be a point count and try and change it around and try and change something. So, fair play to Caleb. I really enjoyed his game. It was solid. He did everything he needed to do defensively. People might argue about the 1 tackle, but if you watch the game back, he never really had an opportunity to tackle anyone. Most of his work was done airily. Zach Fisher, 9 out of 10. Great game for him. This is one of them games that if Carlton are looking to change the midfield, and it's a real bizarre thing with Voss, because I think he's sending in as a sign that he's not happy with the midfield makeup. Hence, Kennedy, Chera, and Hewitt seem to play just about everywhere but on the ball together. If it's not Dow, watching Fisher play on the ball, you really saw the difference in AFL speed to Dow's speed. And that's kind of one of the noticeable things. And that's probably not being harsh on anyone. You actually saw it. I really liked his game. He got the ball moving forward. I feel like the thing that Quenton lack at the moment is playing for territory, but also having the tools to make sure you're there at the head of the ball. He tackled pretty well. I loved his work off the ball. A lot of them marks there were him moving out of position to give his defence an easy hit-up target, particularly in the corridor. I like the way he moves in the midfield. I really do. And I think he is a midfielder. I don't think he's a high half forward. I don't think he's a pocket forward. I think you've accidentally found his role. Whether he gets to play that in the seniors, that's not for me to decide. But definitely a shout there if Quenton want to change that. I'd love to see them be bold and play Dow and Fisher over Hewitt and Kennedy or whoever is hurt. If that midfielders need a rest, if Cherry's out, Fisher and Dow come in and they play their role in the seniors, I'd love to see that. It's going to be interesting though, but that was a good game from Zach. He really showed a bit of maturity levels for me. Oh, Big H, Harry Lemmy, 3 kicks, 5 handballs, 3 tackles, 1 mark, 1 goal, 1 hit out, 6 out of 10. He kind of suffered a little bit from senior forwards. He played behind his man too much. It's getting better, though, and it's what I expect of a kid. Do you know what I mean? This is where you learn your craft. When he gets ahead, he looks really good. He's got a real good leap on him. He's got a good read of the play. Just needs to back himself a bit, which is funny saying it because there should be 0 pressure for Harry Lemmy. 0 pressure in the VFL. We just feel like there's a bit of pressure on him, and I don't know where that comes from. But nice take and go. Real good set shot. I'd like to see him just really take the lead. I'd love to see Ben Crocker and him switch a bit and them giving him a bit of the responsibility. But good signs from him. Binns runs all day, 9 marks. Again, see what I said about Fisher. His defensive work, his and O'Brien and Fisher's defensive work, and their willingness to hit a run and hit a lead to help them out, give them the easy kick, was sensational. And something that will definitely be translatable in the AFL should they look up and read him. 23 kicks, 8 handballs. Love that the mistakes he makes are the right mistakes. He's always looking to take the game on. 5 rebound 50s this week, really improving that defensive craft. Like, easily would be a top 20 pick should the draft be redone now in the terms of the development made from Binns from then. I am a big fan, a big advocate of Binnsy, and he won't be far away. Lewis Young was a real bizarre one today. They started him at full forward. He did switch back in the second half. When he was down back, you saw the class of the man. He was a shoulder above the part. Played a real good leadership role there as well. He was really getting people into position. Saw him a few times speak to Dom and players like that and just get them in the right position. Forward, he kind of didn't see him. The forward entries in the first half were weird. I'm not too sure what the methodology was playing him forward. I know that he liked a bit of ruck forward craft as a kid. He doesn't move like a forward, though. You can see that backline, it would be a bit like getting Liam Jones back to being a forward. I don't think it would quite work. Maybe it was just that they wanted to see Marchbank take that senior role, which Marchbank incidentally did play a lot of key position in that first half and was very good at it. Something to read into. But all in all, 6 out of 10, he did what he had to do at this level. Josh Honey, bizarre one because it started so well. Took a real good, strong grab, good goal. Then after that, I didn't really see him. No tackles. Felt like he gave up on a few chases as well. It was a weird game for me from Honey. For someone that definitely the medium-sized small forwards and the taller forwards are under a bit of cosh at the minute, especially when you look at Quenton's individual goal kickers, the least in the league, 20. You would have thought he would have been putting his hand up. But wasn't to be, and it was the kind of a game for a player like him. Chincotta, very, very good. Hard to the ball, big marks, playing a more intercept role. There's a lot of McGovern about his game this week. Played more from that third position. Attacked the ball hard. Took off as well. He's got the pace to take off, and he's got the willingness to take off. Real solid 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed some of the hit-up kicks he did as well. Hit Fisher quite a few times. He will have done his chances, no doubt. I loved Hudson's game this week, 6. Really fought hard in the ruck. We started to see it. Real good ruck craft from him. Both him and Murkoff need to do a bit more work around the ground. I did like him defensively, did like his positions. The ball just didn't come to him. But real solid outing from Hudson O'Keefe. You can see why they're working on him. Dom went forward. I do like him more forward than I do back. I think there is something to work with forward. Just has to get involved. But I think he looks a lot more solid in that second half when he was forward. I really do. I think that that's the position. I think that there's less onus then on his disposal and more on his natural skills. Took some really good marks. Ball use is still there. 5 out of 10 for my mate Dom. And to finish with Murkoff, 6 out of 10. This is a Murkoff game that annoys me. His ruck work is impeccable. His work around the ground is still a bit lackluster. Some nice entries, getting more involved. But I felt like this was the week here, really, that he'll see that it may be a bit disappointing because he wasn't against real illustrious AFL class. And it was a real game to make a name for himself. But that is the VFL wrap then. Can't wait to see which of these players get into the senior side. Let me know what your thoughts were. Look after yourselves. Stay safe.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad.